I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It, episode 28. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. Thanks for being with us today. And I appreciate you being here, by the way. If I don't say that enough, I really do. You've made our radio shows the number one health and wellness radio broadcast in the country, and we just want to thank you for that. We do appreciate that. And when you have questions, go to my website, Dr. Joe, send me your questions there, read the articles that I've written. We have videos, live lectures that I've done. We have audios there. So however we can teach you to learn about health, we want to give you access to that. Some people like reading books. Some people like watching videos. Some people are auditory. So whatever it is, we want to have that accessibility to you. And that's on the website 24 hours a day, drjoe.com. And you can order my supplements there and all sorts of cool stuff on the website. But what we're talking about today is organic really better for you? And the answer is, according to the British Journal of Nutrition, yes. And we talked earlier about pesticide levels. If it's organic, it's not going to have those pesticides. But now we're talking about other nutritional benefits to organic versus non-organic. Fewer chemicals inside the food. You can wash them and try to get some of them off. Apples is another one, and and here's my rule on this too. If you're going to eat the skin, you want to make sure it's organic, and if it grows underground, you want to make sure it's organic. So with apples, for example, apples, they spray the apples, right? You're in the orchard. I've gone apple picking many times. Spray the apples. They develop a little toxic chemical buildup on there. Okay. So what do we do then? We take the apples. We dip them in wax to make them shine and make them all pretty. We sell them to you. You then, when you're eating the apple, even if you wash it, the wax is what? It's waterproof. And so what happens is you put the apple in your mouth, and you're eating the wax with the pesticides and chemicals underneath. So here's a little trick I want you to try. Buy a non-organic apple, what we call conventional apple, and just take it and dip it in hot water and leave it there for a second or two. See all this wax rise up to the top of the water, and you'll think, I'm eating that? It's disgusting. So the wax alone is bad. The pesticides locked in are bad enough. If it's grown underground, pesticides can build up over time, and they can be absorbed into the plant. So if you're going to eat the skin, or it's grown underground, the answer is absolutely positively should be organic. Now, let's assume we're going to do watermelon. Okay, we're not going to eat the skin on that. What you want to do if you're eating something that's not, even if it is organic, I should say, wash it first. Just some soap and water. Use your dish soap if you want. I use a natural dish soap, of course, because I'm a weird guy like that. But I wash it real good. I have my sponge. I wipe it down real good, rinse it off. Because if there's any toxic chemicals, germs, pesticides, whatever on the outside, and you go to cut into it, you're going to push those viruses, germs, bacteria, bad guys into the melon. Like, for example, there was a scare a while ago. Pre-cut melons being sold at a bunch of different stores had E. coli in them. Well, E. coli is a fecal bacteria. Where the heck did that come from? Chances are it was on the skin somewhere, maybe the fertilizer, because we're going to talk about it in a second. Non-organic fruits and vegetables, we can use human sludge. Human waste, what you flush down your toilet, can be sprayed on the crops as a fertilizer. So somehow E. coli got on there. Maybe there was cows upstream and the cow manure got into the stream and they used the stream water to water the melons, but they didn't wash them. They cut them open. It got in there, caused an E. coli outbreak. So wash it is just a good idea. If it does nothing, so what? You washed your melons. Who cares? But it can get into the plant as well. We talked about on the plant. It can get into the plant as well. Chemicals are systemic, means they get inside and they cause problems. A Norwegian study found that eating extreme levels of glyphosate can cause problems. What's glyphosate? Glyphosate is a very, I should say popular, very often used, how about that? Often used pesticide, a weed killer. And so the weed killer, when it gets into your body, acts like an antibiotic. It can start killing off the bacteria in your colon. Now, about 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your colon. You get these pesticides, glyphosate, into your colon, it can start killing off the good bacteria. It's opening you up to more susceptibility to get sick. That becomes a problem. So I'm not a big fan of glyphosate. And in fact, if you ever buy it, you've probably bought it and sprayed it on your weeds that come up through the cracks in your driveway. And you buy this stuff, read the warning labels. Do not get in your eyes. Do not get in your skin. Wash immediately. Go to the emergency room if it gets into your body. On and on and on and on. Yet, we spray it onto our foods. So another reason why organic would be a better choice. They can't use these chemicals there. Better fats. Talked about animal products before. There's good fats and there's bad fats, by the way. Study found organic milk is high in omega-3 fatty acids, the good kind, what's called DHA and EPA. So organic milk has higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids. Why is that important? Most of us don't have enough omega-3 fatty acids in our diet. And some places we can get them from is animal products, like milk, for example. Where else do we think? Think about it. Where do you think you get omega-3s from? Fish, right? Everybody says, oh, fish. Fish is great. All right, let me digress here for a second. If you're going to do omega-3 supplements, and by the way, I think you should, I use algae oil. Algae is the purest form of omega-3s. Now, fish don't produce omega-3 fatty acids. Newsflash. Fish get it from eating smaller fish who eat algae. So the algae produces the omega-3s, and then it works its way up the food chain. So what will happen is if you are eating down low on the food chain, better off. Higher up on the food chain, not so good. If you're going to take an omega-3 supplement, and I think you should, fish is my least favorite. And the reason is you run the risk of contamination of mercury and other chemicals that are found in a fish. Because the fattier the fish, usually the bigger the fish is, the longer it's been around absorbing chemicals. And where does it store it? In the fat. That's what we've been talking about. That's why I don't like eating animal fats. So fish oil, not my favorite. If you're going to do fish oil, make sure it's certified organic. Not organic, I'm sorry, mercury-free. You can't do organic fish. Okay, next choice would be krill. Now, krill are like little tiny shrimp, and they are good sources of omega-3 fatty acids, very low risk of heavy metal contamination, and they're in what's called the phospholipid form. They're in a form that's easily absorbed by humans. So krill's a good choice. Where do krill get the omega-3s from? They don't make their own. They get it from eating algae. So algae is the purest form with the lowest risk of contamination. Algae is more expensive, though. But, again, you're going to save so much money if you're eating right. And, of course, I always recommend chiropractic care to keep the spine healthy, to keep the nervous system healthy, and getting the stomach, if it's up against the diaphragm, pulled down away from the diaphragm. If you do those three things, you're probably going to save so much money that you can do whatever you want. And you can buy all the organic food that you want. But organic milk is higher in omega-3s. The non-organic milk are higher in something called omega-6. Omega-6 fatty acids cause inflammation. Now, as a chiropractor and a pain management expert, I want to bring down your inflammation, not increase your inflammation. So here you are thinking you're doing the body healthy by eating milk, and you're actually causing a lot of problems, causing inflammation, which can cause pain, and you pinch nerves, and nerves control organs, and your organs can't work, and the inflammation can get into your brain, and your brain malfunctions, and you can go into mood swings and depression and anxiety, all sorts of messy things going on here. So if you're going to do any animal product, once again, I stand by my rule. If you're going to do animal products, organic only or don't eat them. That's the way I prefer that you do it. So good fats are important. Why put bad fats in your body? And I tell patients that all the time. So listen, my team of doctors is going to try to give you the best care available. We're going to do everything we can to obtain and maintain extremely high level of care. You got to work with us. You can't be fighting us by putting toxic chemicals in your body that's going to affect the nervous system and your health. And then you might say, well, I went to Dr. Joe's doctors and it didn't help. Did you do everything they said? Well, no. Okay. Well, then you can't blame them. You got to take a little responsibility on yourself, folks. We'll tell you what to do. You got to do it. The other concern I have, as we continue on, is organic better, is what we're talking about today. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, by the way, if you're just joining us. And the question is organic better? And there's something now called superbugs. Years ago, 30-some-odd years ago, when I started this whole game, we didn't have really a lot of superbugs around. Now we do, and there's about 90,000 lives lost every year to antibiotic-resistant superbug infections. Now, where do they come from? What happens is non-organic farms feed low-dose antibiotics to their animals almost every day, and the reason is make the animal fat. How do we sell meat? By the pound. So the more poundage we can get out of this cow, pig, chicken, whatever it is, the more money we're going to make. Hey, it's good capitalism. I think it's a great idea if you're a capitalist. Don't think it's a good idea for you individually because I want you to get healthy. So We spray these pesticides on, or these antibiotics. It makes the cow or whatever it is fatter. But the bacteria that are exposed to these antibiotics in low doses now start to mutate. What's the bacteria's job in life? Survive. What's your job in life? Survive. We're at odds. Now, there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. So you start doing the antibiotics, it can kill off a lot of the good bacteria, presenting a place where the bad bacteria can set up shop. And that's a big worry. So we want to not kill off the good bacteria. So once these germs are exposed to these drugs, they have to survive. So what do? They mutate to outsmart the drugs. So where one drug used to work, now we have to change drugs. We have to change drugs again. Go back to the glyphosate. Glyphosate isn't working like it used to, the weed killer, because Mother Nature's weeds have mutated. So now we're talking about, not scientists, not me personally, are talking about bringing back a form of DDT. If you're old enough to remember DDT, birth defects, a lot of neurological damage, taken off the market. Because the glyphosate isn't working like it used to. So now we have to create a stronger, a more powerful weed killer. That's what's happening with these superbugs. We're having to come up with new super antibiotics. Problem is they're stronger. So they kill off more of the good stuff as well. You're more than 30% less likely to come in contact with superbugs in the meat supply if you choose organic. Once again, I'm betting that I don't want to be exposed to these things. So if we keep our bodies healthy and we keep the environment as a society healthier, we're going to have less of these superbugs emerging. And then when you do need the medication's going to work a lot better. And that's what I want you to understand. There may come a time where you require drugs, you require surgery. I support that 100%. I'm not against drugs. I'm not against surgery. I've used them. I will use them again if I need them. However, I want to make sure my body's as healthy as it can be. If I do need them, it's going to respond a lot better. A lot of surgeons will send their patients to us before surgery. And they'll say, Joe, I want your team of doctors to look at this person. I want to get them as healthy as they can before we go into surgery. And then after surgery, I want to get them as healthy as I can coming out of surgery. So that sounds like a very wonderful thing. And a doctor has such a warm heart and he's caring and loving about his patients. Absolutely true. However, there's another catch. Doctors and hospitals are graded on their mortality and their morbidity. Mortality is a disease, morbidity is death. So they have grades. And they want to make sure they get a high grade. Patients respond well, they come out of surgery, they do great, and they move on, and they don't have any complications. They don't have to come back for a second surgery. And so what's one way to do that? Well, make sure the person's healthy going in, and then make sure they stay healthy coming out. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of surgeons and hospitals sending patients to my offices because they want to get them well. We like that. It's good for the patient, good for us, good for you, good for the surgeon. Everybody wins when it comes to that. So that's why I think it's a good idea that the trend is going in that direction, that where holistic practitioners like myself, chiropractors, nutritionists, naturopaths, even osteopaths, were made fun of and scorned, and they were quacks, and they were voodoo doctors. Now, everybody's starting to work together, and I'm really happy to see that. It makes me very happy. And especially in our offices, because we have such a reputation with a lot of these other doctors, and they're patients themselves, so they like it. So by eating organic, you're going to expose yourself to less of these superbugs, less likely to get the infection. And then if your body is healthy and you've been eating well for quite a while, what'll happen is the drugs will probably work a lot better for you. Once again, no downside. I always say it's a whole lot cheaper to be healthy than it is to be sick. I've been very sick in my life. I've been very healthy in my life. And trust me, being healthy is a lot more fun, a whole lot less expensive. You live longer, you feel better, your love life improves, you sleep better. I don't get a downside to it, folks. Now, I will give you this. The bad food tastes good. I'm not going to lie to you. But my goal is I'm willing to sacrifice that one moment of pleasure for a double beef cheese hamburger for a healthy life, now and in the future. I don't see a downside to it. We talked before, human sludge being used in conventional growth. Perfectly legal for non-organic farmers to douse non-organic fields with human sludge taken from municipal water treatment plants to fertilize their crops. Talk about recycling. Sludge can contain whatever lives in there, whatever resides in there, viruses, germs, bacteria, E. coli. That's where the E. coli breakouts come from sometimes. Also, when you take a medication, let's assume you're taking birth control pills, you're taking cholesterol medication, you're taking blood pressure medication. What happens is these medications get into your body. They pass out through your urine and your waste. But the filters at the municipal plant don't have filters to filter out all the medication, the birth control pills, the blood pressure medication. So they get back into the municipal water supply. Now, especially if it hasn't even been filtered yet and it's still a sludge, you're going to get small doses of those drugs into the foods. Is it going to be a big deal if you have an apple or a strawberry that's been sprayed with human sludge and it doesn't have E. coli on it, but maybe a little bit of birth control pill? No, probably not. Let's talk about cumulative, though. That's what I keep wanting to get to. It's cumulative. It builds up over time. So scientists have detected shampoo chemicals in non-organic tomatoes. And of course, the hypothesis is that, why? You took a shower, it ran down the drain, you took it out of the sewer, and you sprayed it onto the crops. Where else would shampoo residue get on a tomato? So we're not testing for birth control pills. We're not testing for cholesterol medications. Chances are that they're there. So why expose yourself to that? Again, as a chiropractor, my job is get you well as quick as possible without drugs and surgery. I want to get the nervous system working properly. We want to get the digestive system working properly. We want to get your diet straightened out. We want to get you on good supplements. I take supplements every single day. Once again, if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. I take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which is the absolute minimum amount of supplements I think anybody should be taking. Then I take Dr. Joe's adrenal support, because as we get older, the adrenal glands get weaker. And the adrenal glands produce energy, they produce anti-inflammatories, and they produce your reproductive hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. So many people have whacked out hormones. Go to doctor, you have a whacked out hormone. Absolutely. Ask why. And chances are we don't know. But we know that, hey, listen, if you're using perfume, it has phthalates in it, and phthalates can alter your hormones. You're exposing yourself to pesticides because you work in the gardening industry. Okay, that can mess your hormones up. So what do we do about it? Well, we got to get the body producing its own natural hormones, and the adrenal glands are one of the organs that are big players in hormone production. And they produce anti-inflammatory. So I take adrenal support. I take Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I take an omega-3 fatty acid every day. I take a B complex because most of us are deficient in B vitamins. I want to get my B vitamins up because they do what? They help your nervous system. As a chiropractor, I want your nervous system working. So if you want to make an appointment to come see my doctors, go to my website, drjoe.com. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love the opportunity to work with you. And we accept most insurances. If we're not in your insurance plan, there's a reason for it, by the way. Let me back up. If a doctor is not in your insurance plan, there's a reason. Chances are they're not getting paid enough to to be in that insurance plan. And that's why a lot of doctors, ourselves included, have dropped out of a few plans. And sometimes, many times, you have an out-of-network benefit, which is even better than if the doctor's in-network. For some unknown reason, the insurance companies pay more and you pay less out-of-network in some places. Car accidents. I've never seen a car accident where the car was damaged where the occupants weren't. So please don't let the fact that a doctor isn't in your network prevent you from getting the quality care that you need. Because who wins in there? The insurance company wins, you lose. It's always cheaper to be healthy than it is to be sick. And we accept a lot of insurance, including Medicare. So if you want to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoe.com. If you want to get Super Greens, Essential Source, the B vitamins, adrenal support, we have probiotics, an awesome probiotic that I've put together, vitamin D, digestive enzymes. If you're eating a lot of cooked food, or if you're getting older, I take digestive enzymes. All of those are on my website, drjoe.com. Also available on Amazon. If you have an Amazon account, you can do that. And my books. Read my books, folks. Eating Right for the Health of It, Prescription for Extreme Health. Good stuff right there. And my podcasts are there, too, so you can watch videos and audios all on the website, drjoe.com. Spend a little time there. It's going to change your life, promise you. Weird food additives. If you're using organic food, we're talking about is organic better? Organic has a clear advantage when it comes to packaged foods. And a lot of us eat packaged foods. I do too sometimes. Instead of harmful artificial dyes that can cause brain damage and are linked to things like attention deficit disorder. How many people know somebody with ADD? Raise your hands. How about emotional components? Raise your hands. All available there. Food processing, if you're doing organic, is usually using natural things like beets maybe to make something red as opposed to a red dye. So if it's organic, you're going to avoid not just the pesticides and have more nutrients in it, you can avoid a lot of chemicals that can be causing problems as well. I don't know if you've watched the news lately, but we have a problem. We're running out of bees. Why is that important? Well, bees pollinate. Everything you eat, the fruits and veg, everything has to go back to pollinators. Without the pollinators, we're all dead. It's the end of the world. So the pesticides are not only killing the bad bugs, but they're killing the good bees as well. So that becomes a big issue. The insecticides can lead to colony collapse with a whole colony of bees. And these toxic brain-damaging insecticides are not in organics. So it allows the bees to go pollinate and make more baby bees, and we get to grow more. So whether your concern is nutrition, whether your concern is cost, whether your concern is the environment, living longer, feeling better, looking younger, I don't see a downside to this, folks. It's all upsides. And it's available now, too. I mean, years ago, you had to go to special, airy-fairy health food stores where everything smelled like patchouli. And my college roommate used to laugh about, wrinkled cotton dresses and hairy armpits. Those were the people that ate the organic foods. And now it's mainstream. Restaurants serve organic. Wow. Why? They realize that there's a demand for it. You, the consumer, will determine what restaurants serve, what grocery stores serve. So if you want it, they'll supply it. They're capitalists and they want to make money on you. So if you demand organic lettuce, well, there's going to be organic lettuce there. And the more that it's used, the lower the price is going to be. It's better for the environment. Maybe your concern is environmental. See, there's an old song. I love quoting this song. It's by Oleta Adams. Gosh, I was way back when, 30 years ago maybe? And the line from the song is, I don't care how you get here, just get here if you can. And I love the line from that song because I don't care what motivates you to get healthy. Maybe you go to chiropractic because you have neck pain, back pain. Maybe you understand that 90% of the nerves don't feel pain. And I can go to my chiropractor and get my nervous system working. Maybe you're concerned about arthritis because if joints are out of alignment, the only promise I can give you, they will wear out. The reason you get arthritis, osteoarthritis, is mechanical. So maybe you want to avoid medication. Maybe you want to fix your digestive system so your stomach can produce neurotransmitters to go to your brain so you feel better. I don't care how you get here. There's no downside that I can see going into this holistic world. And my team of doctors, we work very closely with the allopaths, the medical doctors, and so we try to co-manage cases as often as we can. Because sometimes we can't fix things, and sometimes they can't fix things. And sometimes the two of us together can. Somebody came the other day, what do you do a natural treatment for poison ivy? I said, I'm super sensitive to poison ivy. And I had a real bad rash on this arm. And this whole section of my arm, my lower part of my arm from my wrist to my elbow was just inflamed and full of bumps. And I was trying to do the holistic approach. I took a picture of it, sent to my medical doctor friend. And he texted me back. He goes, I called in a prescription. He says, holistic ain't going to do this. Went to the pharmacy, got my prescription, took the steroids. It went away. I got really grouchy and agitated. If you ever take steroids, you know that. Then I rebuilt the colon, the bacteria in my colon, and I'm fine. So we're not against working closely with everyone together. So again, I don't care what your motivation is, just do it. Healthier climate. According to studies done on soil science, if all the cropland on the earth were treated organically, the soil would lock up or sequester 41% of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Pasture land would sequester another 71%. So there you go. We're knocking out the toxic chemicals in the air pollution. How simple is that? And what's interesting, too, is when you start going to more organic, it's better for the soil, better for the farmers, better for the plants, better for everyone if we just did that. However, there's a short-term savings, long-term costs. And I'd rather go with the short-term savings and the long-term savings, too. That's what will happen. If we do it short-term, we'll do it long-term, too. So it does work. And here's the kicker of them all. It tastes better. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but milk used to have cream on it. Remember that? Used to have something called flavor. I don't know if you remember that. Peaches were juicy. Watermelons were sweet. Remember those days? You'd open up ear of corn and be worms in there sometimes. That's a good ear of corn right there, folks. If it's good enough for the worms, it's good enough for you. If the worms aren't going to eat it, you probably shouldn't be eating it either. So let's go old school here on this, is what I'm getting at. Let's go old school before the word organic even mattered. Try to eat more fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. Take supplements. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source are the starting points. Then the adrenals, the probiotics. It's all on my website, drjoe.com. And if you want, we can do a nutritional consult with you and customize a plan for you. You can do that. Just go to my website, drjoe.com. Send us a request, and we can set that up for you. If you want to become patients, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge in the Atlanta area. We would love to be your doctors. So go to our website, make an appointment, come see us, and let's see what we can do. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating. We've seen thousands and thousands of patients with these problems, and most of them are very, very happy with the results. And the cool part is that it's so much less expensive than anything you're doing right now. And I keep going back to the finances because finances is a motivating factor for most people. So why wouldn't you do something that helps you all the way across the board? Get out of that pain, that neck pain, that back pain, that shoulder pain. I love it when a patient comes in a walker and is able to walk out in a few visits and go, Doc, it's amazing. Now, it takes time. So here's the other thing, too. If you do become a patient or you do make your dietary change, you do take supplements or you do go to organic, it's not going to happen tomorrow. Give it time. We've got to rebuild the structure of your body. And that's not something that's going to go away overnight. So you want to get supplements, drjoe.com, also available on Amazon. My podcast. Oh, by the way, if you have podcasts, you look up your podcast service. For the Health of It is my podcast. You can catch them there, too. I'm Dr. Joe. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on a WSB Radio app.